Superheroes have been dominating the box office for the past 10 or so years, but it's only been recently that they've really come back to the small screen. Though complaints about the lack of diversity in superhero movies are nothing new, this last summer seems to be the one that everyone started complaining about how all the superheroes are played by white guys named Chris. It would be nice to see more women in these roles, but I think that portraying female heroes is a minefield that I don't envy these studios for stepping into, partially because there is no successful example to emulate. Which doesn't even get into the question of women as bankable action leads, or what makes a good heroine in any genre, or issues surrounding strong female characters. However, 3 recent television shows have done a good job of telling comic book stories with female leads, and maybe these will pave the way for more like them. Hopefully, this will include some women of color, because they are conspicuously absent from this list. Though I think the issue of calling women girls is handled pretty clumsily in the show itself, I appreciate what it's trying to convey. There's nothing wrong with being a girl, meaning there's nothing wrong with being stereotypically girly as long as a woman feels that that's only one of many options. One of the issues with making women into heroes is that classical definitions of heroism, especially the ones on display in comics, which emphasize giant muscles and conflict resolution via punching, is heavily centered around virtues that are coded male: being strong, being stoic, being a protector. How do you show women expressing these traits without denigrating ones that are traditionally female? Is this even a goal that needs to be addressed? I personally say yes to the last one. And as to the first issue, I think the key is keeping the definition of heroism broad. Heroes don't have to be loners, and they don't have to be emotionally unavailable. Traits that are seen as feminine, such as kindness, empathy, modesty, and cooperation, are equally, if not more important than being able to punch things, and neither are mutually exclusive. Kara Zor-El works because she is all of these things, in addition to being relentlessly positive and boundlessly enthusiastic. One of the most important parts of Kara's character in the show is that she's still learning, which means she messes up. She's allowed to be a regular girl who just happens to have laser eyes, instead of a totally confident, unrelatable, emotionless ass kicker. Now, for me, one of the other really refreshing parts of Supergirl are the family dynamics. Let's look at what most other superhero families look like. My parents were murdered, so now I go around beating up criminals instead of investing in the kind of social programs that would actually prevent crime. I'm Batman. Mine mother is dead, and I love mine father, but he maketh terrible decisions. Verily, thou can sayest that again. My parents are dead, so is everyone I ever knew and loved. Oh, except for my girlfriend who can't remember me, and my BFF who tried to kill me. Sup? Mom's dead, Dad's in jail, gotta go, bye! My parents are dead, and my uncle is one of 2 people in all of comics who stays dead. Uh-huh. Sorry, the only person. Tragically dead dad and daddy issues with the dead dad. So both my parents died tragically, and I've always felt inadequate compared to my father. So yeah, parents are dead is pretty standard, and daddy issues always take front and center. Oliver Queen gets props for having an actual real-life mother with whom he has a complicated relationship. Supergirl focuses on Kara's relationships to her adopted sister, her female boss, and how she wrestles with her dead mother's legacy and her conflict with her aunt. Oh, and there are a couple of guys that she hangs out with as well. This isn't just a show about a girl, it's about women and the relationships and dynamics between them. However, you still hear people complaining about the barely there love triangle. Also, apparently the fact that she's a beleaguered assistant at a magazine means that the show is too chick flicky. Which is dumb too, because no one thinks Clark Kent or Peter Parker getting yelled at by their editors looks like a romantic comedy. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Supergirl, and I'll see you next time. So next in this series on sexy lady crime fighters is a review of Jessica Jones. Make sure you check that one out too. Hey, you were only supposed to be in that one segment. Oh, and speaking of which, I'd like to take this time to point out that I also have dead parents and daddy issues. Anyway, you're not even a DC property. Oh, I will be. One of these days, Robert Downey Jr. is gonna barge into the offices at Warner Brothers and get himself a contract. I'll crash your next movie like I did Captain America 3. Oh, fudge.